In 1913, on the outskirts of Boston, Massachusetts, the Black Hollow State Hospital was opened to treat the mentally unwell. But locals whispered it wasn't a hospital at all. It was a prison for those the government wanted erased. The red brick building loomed like a fortress, with bars on every window and locks on every door. Families who left loved ones here rarely saw them again. At night, neighbors claimed to hear screams carried by the wind. By 1926, over 200 patients had vanished from the hospital's records, but the staff insisted they had never existed at all. In 1913, on the outskirts of Boston, Massachusetts, the Black Hollow State Hospital was opened to treat the mentally unwell. But locals whispered it wasn't a hospital at all. It was a prison for those the government wanted erased. The red brick building loomed like a fortress, with bars on every window and locks on every door. Families who left loved ones here rarely saw them again. At night, neighbors claimed to hear screams carried by the wind. By 1926, over 200 patients had vanished from the hospital's records, but the staff insisted they had never existed at all. By 1934, the hospital was overcrowded, its walls stained with mold and despair. Nurses reported hearing voices echoing through the halls, even when every patient was asleep. One nurse, Margaret Hall, claimed she heard a child laughing in the locked basement ward, a place no children had ever been kept. When she opened the door, she found only a single wooden chair, still rocking. The next day, Margaret vanished during her shift, and her name was scratched out from the hospital's employment records. Officially, she never worked there. Unofficially, her colleagues swore they still heard her footsteps in the corridors at night. The basement of Black Hollow was never on the official blueprints. Hidden behind a false wall in the laundry room, a narrow stairway led to a chamber lined with strange medical equipment. Patients who were sent below were never seen again. Rumor had it that secret experiments were conducted here, ordered by government agencies that didn't want their names in the records. In 1941, during a city inspection, the false wall was discovered. But before anyone could investigate, the building was mysteriously quarantined due to a sudden outbreak. The basement was sealed shut, and all files concerning it were destroyed. In the winter of 1953, a convoy of black vans arrived at Black Hollow in the dead of night. Witnesses said they saw staff loading patients, restrained and gagged, into the vehicles. The vans drove east toward the coast, but none ever returned. No transfer paperwork was filed. The hospital director claimed the patients were moved to a more modern facility, but no such facility existed. Weeks later, fishermen reported seeing bodies tangled in nets, their hospital bracelets still on. The police dismissed these as hoaxes. By spring, over 80 patient files had been removed from the archives. In 1967, Black Hollow burned. The flames started in the east wing and spread faster than any fire department could respond. But survivors claimed the fire wasn't an accident. They swore they saw a figure in a doctor's coat walking through the flames untouched. Some say it was the spirit of Dr. Holloway, a surgeon who died decades earlier during a botched experiment. Official reports claimed faulty wiring caused the blaze, but no remains were ever found for 47 of the hospital's residents. The ruins were abandoned, left to rot under the weeds and the watch of silent crows. In 1989, a group of amateur ghost hunters entered the ruins. They carried VHS camcorders, EMF meters, and cheap flashlights. Hours of footage showed nothing unusual, until the last tape. In its final minutes, one hunter screamed, and the camera fell to the floor. A shadow passed over the lens, and then static. Their car was found parked outside the gates, keys still in the ignition, but the hunters were never found. Locals say if you play that last tape in complete silence, you can hear faint breathing, and a whisper saying, "You shouldn't be here." Today, the remains of Black Hollow are fenced off, guarded by warning signs that read, "Federal property, no trespassing." At night, faint lights are still seen in the upper floors, even though the building has no power. Urban explorers who have entered say the air feels heavy, and their cameras malfunction inside. A few claim they saw figures watching from the windows, figures wearing outdated hospital gowns. The town refuses to speak about the place, as if afraid the hospital's past might crawl back to life. Black Hollow may be dead, but something inside is still breathing.